What would you say is that one single trait that you have that makes you not stop?
Consistency. Consistency compounds.
When you say consistency compound, it's like you have to constantly stretch. You have to constantly push yourself to the next thing.
The DNA of your success lays on your routines.
Yeah.
Right, it's not so much about what you've done, it's how you do it consistently. So if I'm able to train at that level to do something crazy like that, I've developed certain routines and habits that took me there.
We have Alvaro Nunez. He's I would say he's a kind of an old friend. I met him a few times back when, and we kind of kept in touch, but not really. But I've seen him in the last couple of years, like really kind of like evolve into this like crazy. I had no idea what you were capable of. He's like an insane endurance athlete, or he just, well, we're going to get into it. But anyway, thank you for being on the show. We're going to.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure. I mean, I can't wait to like dig into all of your like crazy things. Before we start this podcast, I'm just going to kind of sidebar this for a second. Alvaro and I, we got these Niagen IVs, which is basically like an NAD IV that goes in quicker than the regular NAD, and it's more potent. So they're really good. And we did them it took us like 30 minutes before we started this podcast. And so we're chit-chatting. And like, even in the chit-chatting in 30 minutes, like the stories that you told me, I'm like, don't tell me. Because I wanted the audience to hear some of the craziness that this guy does. I think you guys will find it super interesting. But okay, fine. Let's do this, Matt. So we're doing this shot with your healthy lifestyle.
You're really taking care of myself today.
I know.
This is a great way to start a podcast, having an IV. And then this, I actually just flew in this morning from Miami all the way here, came straight here. And I'm like, oh, man.
You did?
Yeah. And then I was thinking, man, and I just came back from Russia, which we'll get into a lot of the challenges that I've been doing. And the first thing that you say, Alvaro, I got you. Here's the perfect IV. Now we have this. I'm enjoying it. And then I see some bars on the table. Like, good job.
I'm telling you, this is like a wellness facility here.
I love that.
I'm telling you, my like some people like art and nice furniture. I just like having like wellness stuff, saunas, a cold plunge, healthy shots like this Magic Mind, IVs by True Niagen. I mean, I'm telling you, like I hook up my people when they come here.
I love that. So what are we drinking?
This is basically a shot that has all sorts of yummy goodies in it. It's for like mental focus and for stress. It has also ashwagandha. It has what is this? I'm blind. I'll tell you exactly what it has. You're younger than me.
I can read
the
it.
Ingredients.
Sharper mind, lower stress, better energy.
Yeah, but what is in it exactly? Because I want to.
Matcha green tea.
Yeah, but that's where the caffeine
Agave,
comes. So
olive oil, passion fruit, ashwagandha, bacopa, monieri,
keep going.
Cocnizine, potassium, rhodiola rosea, natural vanilla,
it's a performance
turmeric.
shot is what they call it. It's a performance shot. So anybody on the podcast, you are the perfect candidate. So you should be taking these before you perform.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Do you like it?
Wow, it's actually good.
It actually tastes good, right?
Wow. You know what? I'm actually surprised how good it tastes.
I know.
Usually these shots
are
I'm like,
gross.
oh, Josh. I've always make a weird face when I take these shots.
Totally.
Because they have like always this like weird, intense flavor. This is good.
I know.
This
I'm
was
telling
smooth.
you. I was saying to you earlier.
What happened if I take two?
You know what? I have one here that's 3 times the caffeine. You should have taken this one. Do you want to take this one?
Well, but then I'm gonna be like,
well, no,
I want to start doing
jittering.
push-ups, dips. Like I want to start moving my legs.
That's true. You're gonna be like climbing my house.
I don't even
take
take a caffeine really, so I'm like.
You don't drink coffee?
No.
Okay, so take another one if you want. So each of these have 50 milligrams
I'll save
of caffeine.
it mid conversation.
Okay, that sounds good. Or you can take this one. Take this one home with you. It's the Magic Mind Max. It's like the 3 times the caffeine. Yeah, but I know. Like I told you, I won't promote anything that I don't actually legit like. And I take this before I work out every time.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I really like them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they also come caffeine free. So anyway, that's like a huge plug for Magic Mind, and it wasn't even intended. So you're welcome.
All right.
So let's start talking about you. So you're like a young spring chick. You're like 31 years old, or how old are you again?
Yeah, 31.
31. And when I met you, do you remember like how I clicked with you or I connected to you because you told me how like you basically like jump out of like you were telling me how like you jump out of planes and you said I should check your Instagram and like you were like reading a book as you were jumping out of a plane. This was like many years ago. Do you remember? Do
Yeah.
you remember that?
Well, I remember because you gave me your book and we were talking about
Oh,
how
that's
to
right.
promote the book. And I was telling you, it's like, you have a great book, you have a great platform. Now it's how you promote the book. And I have a book called
That's
Level Up. And I had the most fun ever promoting the book, like skydiving with the book and flying with it. I'm a helicopter pilot. So taking the book in the helicopter and passing it on to people, working like, anyways, I had the most fun. And I was telling you that. And then
Oh,
that's
that's
how we
how it
connected.
happened. Okay, I didn't even remember like how that whole thing happened. But like, yeah, I'm not going to be jumping out of a plane reading my own book because I don't know how to jump out of a plane.
Not
But
yet, not yet.
not yet, not yet. You're right. The
Maybe after
days
a couple of shots of
I
this,
was
you're
gonna
like,
say,
yeah, let's go.
I was gonna say, give me a few hours. But I mean, you like so. How do I? Because I don't even know how to describe you. When like I knew you're coming to town, I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna come on the podcast. I don't know. You do a lot of things, and like I don't know how to describe what you do. So can you just kind of give us a kind of a very kind of brief like description of how what you call yourself?
Yeah, I mean, just somebody that wants to live life to the fullest, right? But at the end of the day, yes, I have a business that is what gives me money every month to live this life. So, entrepreneur by heart, I have a real estate and a marketing agency. Then I have a book called Level Up that became also a bestseller. I love to just push myself, and that's why the challenges in the ultra endurance worlds took place, where I like to do anything that really pushes the body, the mind, the spirit. Helicopter pilot, skydiver, and just
All these things.
somebody that wants to connect with people to make a big change.
Well, it's working. So, can you tell me the first big thing that you did? Like the first, because like the way you, that I think, well, how about this? The thing that you just did, actually, didn't you ride your bike across the country in 12 days or something like that?
Yeah, that's RAM, Race Across America. That's the world's toughest bicycle race.
Race across, it's called RAM.
RAM, yeah.
Okay, so and what's the consistency?
Well,
What
you
did you
gotta
do?
do over 3,000 miles coast to coast. It actually started here in California, in Oceanside, and you go all the
Okay.
way to Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's nonstop, so whatever amount of time it takes you, you gotta reach certain time stations on time so that you can continue because it's an actual race, and it's over 150,000 feet of elevation. That's like 5 times Everest, and yeah, you gotta complete it under 12 days. So a lot of hours on the bike.
And did you complete it?
Yeah, actually, I completed it and just by a few hours, but I did. And it was interesting because I was on an average of 23 hours per day on the bike.
How many?
23.
There's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, you just keep on eating and doing everything on the bike.
What do you? So do you go to the bathroom on the bike? Like, what do you
Well,
do?
you're burning so much that you don't even use the restroom. You're just literally like, I lost 30 pounds on the race in 12 days, 30 pounds.
You lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if anyone's listening to this, forget about Ozempic. You should
Yeah,
you
exactly.
do
Well,
RAM.
you lose more than just weight. I lost everything. I lost my soul in the process. No, it was one of
Wow.
those races that I'll tell you, I've done a lot of things and this takes the cake because I'm not even a cyclist. I didn't even like cycling. I was just doing it for the sake of pushing myself to new heights. And it was interesting because usually the people that you see in this type of races are people that have been cycling forever. They're professional cyclists. They're people that have been doing it for years. There was one guy on the starting line. I asked him, "It's like, hey, you feeling ready?" He's like, I've been cycling for 40 years. I haven't missed one day. And he didn't even finish the race.
He
Point is,
didn't?
no, and
How many people actually finished the race?
13 people solo. Because there is different categories, right? You have categories by teams. So let's say you built a team of 8 people, 6 people, 4 people, or 2, and you divide the miles. I did it in the solo category, which you gotta qualify for it. And
Which
yeah, it
means
was,
you did the whole thing by yourself.
yeah,
So if you can do it with the team, you can split it with the rest of the
yes,
team.
exactly.
So you've never bicycled ever.
No, I mean, I've done a few Ironman races, an Ultraman, but I've never done cycling really until the last couple of years. And this was a challenge that I wanted to see how I could do. And again, I'm 200 pounds. I'm like 6'4". I'm not the usual guy that cycles in these distances, right? Everybody that is doing this, they're like 140 pounds. They're very tiny people. So what it took people a certain amount of time to go on their heels, it took me double the time. So the only way that I could actually stay in the game, stay in the race, is by not sleeping. And that's when I started to just go through this process of sleep deprivation, hallucinations. I started to crash because I was falling asleep. It was an interesting race for sure.
Wait a minute. So you did not sleep at all. So that 1 hour that you were off the bike, if you were driving the bike for 23 hours a
Yeah.
day, what did you do for the other hour?
You
Sleep?
sleep, yeah,
So where would you sleep?
in the car. There's a vehicle with my team that follows me that is passing me food through the window and is making sure that if I, break a bike, they have another one. Like they're just like looking after me.
And like, who pays for this stuff? Do you? Do you have to pay for the team to help you?
Yeah, there is a lot of
Sponsors?
sponsors. Like 10x Health was the biggest one, so thank you guys. And then yeah, we have different brands that were involved in the process, and also myself.
Like, how much does it cost to even like do something like this?
It cost me over $150,000.
To do this race?
Yeah.
Okay, break it down. Why? Why is it so expensive? Like, what are you paying for?
We are having 10 people in the team, and you gotta have an RV, 2 follow vehicles, bikes, spare bikes. You gotta have food for everybody, the flights, everything that falls
Yeah.
into place, and you start breaking it down, it skyrockets the cost.
So people need to have money to do these things.
People have been saving for 5 years, 10 years. That's their dream
Yeah.
goal. And
Wow.
and that's why I rushed it a little bit. And it was interesting. I'll tell you a story that really resonates a lot. And it kind of like expanded my mind because I was part of a team last year. I was helping a team, Colin O'Brady and
Yeah.
Lucas. They were doing this race in a 2-man team. So they were splitting the miles between them and they were working on breaking this world record. And they wanted to build a team that could help and do that. And I was one of them. So I went and I saw them doing it in action. And when
What kind of race were they doing?
same one.
Oh, say
But
this
they
race?
but they were doing it as a team.
Doubles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Duet.
And they were like doing 1 hour and a half each, and 1 hour and a half, and then the other 1 hour and a half. And it was interesting concept, right? And when the race finished, I was so motivated. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it solo. And I announced it there at the end. It's like, I'm going to do this race next year solo. And, like everything else, life goes on. I had other challenges. I was doing like this 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days, and then this business, this, and that. So I didn't really train for cycling. And then the coach that was coaching Colin and Lucas said, hey, Alvaro, like, are we still doing this? I'm like, yeah. So in January of this year, I was like, all right, well, time to work. And we started to put together a plan to do it. And it was so rushed that by the time that I wanted to catch up and be able to be ready for this race, my schedule changed from having all these other things to now being 10 hours a day on a bike training. The schedule was insane. And I'm like at that point thinking, is this even worth it? Why am I doing this for? Like there was no why behind it. There was only Alvaro wanting to push himself. Like, well, why am I even doing this, right? So a month before the race, I started to break it down. I already qualified. I did that race. We did all the things. Like, okay, things are getting headed towards the right direction. But a month before the race, I started looking at, okay, we have no team. I have nobody on the team, just my coach and a couple of friends. Finances, I started looking at how much is this going to cost. I have no sponsors. And I'm starting to do the breakdown, $150,000. I haven't booked anything, no RV, no nothing. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. I have no bikes. I have only one bike. And I'm physically so out of it. Like I'm doing 5-hour bike ride and I'm so dead. And I'm supposed to do 5 more hours in that session. And I'm like overthinking. And I'm like, nah, man, there is no way. Why am I even doing this? And I started to cry. First time in my life that I start crying in the middle of a training session. In general, I don't usually cry. So I started to call, a couple of my friends, one of them, Lucas, the guy that did the race last year. And he tells me, nah, brother, what you're trying to do is just impossible. Like, why don't you do it for next year? You'll have enough time to do it and all that. And I'm like, and I started to hear that. I'm like, man, next year, like, oh my gosh. So I called my dad. And, my dad, I've always had a great connection with him with sports because growing up, I was a tennis player. So I called him to ask for advice. And before I even asked for anything, he said, well, son, I have something to tell you. I just got diagnosed with cancer. And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, I have advanced prostate cancer. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it took me by surprise. And I'm like, what do you mean? Explain to me all this. And then he starts to explain and to tell me what his condition is and how he has to go into surgery right away and chemo and all that. And I start to get out of breath. And I'm like, okay, well, I know the answer without even asking you the question. And he's like, what's the question? And I'm like, don't worry. I'm going to go to Spain to be there with you for this. When is it? And he's like, no, you're not coming. It's at the same time that your race is taking place. And you're not quitting that race. And I'm like, whoa. And then we made this agreement where if I didn't quit during the race, he wouldn't quit during his treatment. And it was the strongest why that could have possibly exist. And it happened without even looking for it. And from that moment on, I hung up with my dad and I said, this is it. And I started to dial in all the companies to get sponsors. I started to dial in the most badass people that I had in my life. I started to dial in everybody that I had to do it. And a week later, everything was solved. And I started to dial in, and during the race, that's what kept me moving.
Wow. I was not expecting you to say that story. That is so unbelievable. How was your dad?
Good. He was waiting at the other side of the phone via FaceTime on the finish line.
Really?
And they were keeping us posted on how we both were doing during the race. And I remember in the middle of the race, I couldn't go anymore. My mind was saying, you're done. You're done. And I had to silence that voice. And I remember in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., I could not go any farther. And my team played me an audio from my dad. And it was my dad telling me one of the most beautiful words I've ever heard. And it just made me keep going. And it was my why, right? Like I was no.
What do you say?
He was just telling me, son, I just got out of the chemo and I'm doing well. And he was just basically telling me the same thing that he told me when I was a kid. Aguanta, hijo, which is like, you got this, son, like keep going. And it was like a strong sentence that he used to tell me when I was a kid. And I was always fighting because I was never the most talented guy. I was always just the guy that will not quit. And he was reminding me that in that voice note. And he was fighting for his life. And I was just fighting for my soul. And we both made that agreement and we kept each other accountable so that at the end of the race, he was there waiting for me.
This is like unbelievable. I was so not expecting you to say that story. That is so moving.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And hey, sometimes we are chasing that why, that purpose, and having the courage to just keep going without a why might surprise you, because when you have that gut feeling of wanting to do something and you don't have a why, sometimes the why will find you in the most unexpected way.
No kidding. Where's your mom?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, so they're not together.
They're not together.
And do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, yeah, and it was interesting because I have older siblings that are in Spain, and they were taking my dad to the hospital every day. And they were telling me that my dad was very funny because when he was going to the hospital, he was telling the doctors, hurry up because my son is about to make it to the next time station and I need to be there ready to see him make it. And one of the most beautiful things that I realized is that your actions matter. You never know who's watching. You never know who's going to feel inspired or energized by what you do. And every pedal that I was doing, it had purpose because it was giving him strength to keep on going. So there was no way that I will quit. And I always say this, when you have a massive goal, there is two outcomes. You either make it or you don't.
Yeah.
And the difference between making it or not is if you quit. And if you take quitting out of the equation, then there is only one outcome. You'll make it. And it was during that race that I realized quitting is not an option. And it's a scary place. It's a very scary place because you know that you're breaking down. You know that you have so much ahead. But it's also very empowering and very liberating because you know that the only way forward is forward.
Right. It's through, I guess.
And that's it. And it was interesting because the fight, it no longer was a fight with the road, fight with my mind. It was just fighting everything, the demons. And the only way that I could go into that path was forward. And it was beautiful to realize that when you take quitting out of the equation, everything becomes very empowering.
It's hard though, right? Because like you obviously have the determination, right, to
Yeah.
do that, but most people don't have that determination. Or you found that your why was so important, right? And
Yeah.
it's so were but you said you were, as a kid, you were super determined all the time. You wouldn't give up. That was your, like, that's your personality, right? You may not be talented, but you are incredibly resilient, or you're incredibly determined. Like, I think determination, and I think that gets people way further than talent. I think hard work, practice, all these things.
Yeah.
So you already had that in you to do that. So kind of what happened with tennis? Like, why were you not a great, like, how come you just didn't persevere with tennis to become,
It's a great question.
you know?
And just to put things in perspective, I always say motivation fades, but devotion stays.
Yeah.
The devotion, right? Because it's not anymore about discipline, determination. It goes beyond that. Because that devotion, that it was for that mission, for your mind, for your body, whatever the devotion is towards, that's what's going to stay. And that's what I was keep on telling me. It was no longer about a question of if I was going to finish or not. It was going to happen. So if I look at my career as an individual in sports, for example, since you're asking about tennis, I was a 16-year-old ready to make a move, whether it was towards professional career or to leverage tennis in a different direction. And you also had to have certain conversations that are hard. For me, it was at that time where my dad had a heart attack. We lost everything. We literally lost everything. And we were having a conversation with my coach at the time. And I went to a school of professional athletes. The guys that were in my classroom went on to become the best in their sports. I was looking at them later on in life winning gold medals. And, you know, I was supposed to be okay in tennis, but I was not the best. As I told you, I was never the most talented. I was just the hardest worker in the room.
Yeah.
And when we talked to my coach, he's like, what are the chances of Alvaro making it, right? And the coach said, listen, the people that live out of tennis are the top 100%. The top 100 are the ones that live out of tennis. If you look at the average age, is 25 years old. If you look at how many people enter the top 100 and how many people leave every year, it's between 10, 7 people. Everyone else stays in that top 100. Now, the chances of you getting injured is over 50%. If you do all this math, the chances of you making it are 0.000000001%. And you gotta make sure that you're willing to at least put 7 years into this career without expecting anything in return. Are you willing to do it? And at the time, we didn't have money. We didn't have resources to continue that path. And it's like, how can we leverage tennis? And that's how I went to the States with a scholarship and got my education, learned English, expanded the mindset. And then later on, if I wanted to continue with tennis, I could. But I discovered something that was more exciting for me, the whole entrepreneur mindset and how to really build something that I could financially make a living and help my family back home. So it was beautiful to come in here with that.
Did your dad raise you?
Both my parents, they were
They
together.
did.
Yeah.
Well, you said your mom's in Dominican Republic.
Later on in life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So where's your sister and where does everyone live?
I have 2 older brothers and an older sister. They're in Madrid. They're older than me. And then I have a younger sister that just recently moved to Dominican Republic as an architect.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, wait, I want to get back to the race because I'm very fascinated by this Ram race. How many people were doing solos?
I don't know. Maybe like, because you got to qualify for it.
Right.
You got to do a race in order to make it. So I think maybe like there were 30 people doing it solo.
So for 12 days, you were sleep deprived.
Yeah.
For 12 days, you only slept an hour a day.
On average.
And
sometimes no, sometimes I was going for 36 hours nonstop and then I would sleep 2 hours. Like it depends, right?
And okay, and then what kind of came from it? You obviously hurt your knee a tiny bit. It doesn't seem that terrible, but it's a little bit beaten
No,
up.
this is nothing.
There's nothing. What else happened? Anything else? What other
Yeah.
injuries or
Well, yeah.
delusions or did you go to did your brain?
Oh my God. You know, it's funny because I haven't really talked much about this, but it was a fight with demons because I was starting to see people flying. Like there were people holding me on the bike that did not exist. I thought people were shaking me out of the bike. I thought I was running over. Literally at first,
It was just your mind.
it was my mind. Like literally, I was in the middle of the night and I was braking so hard in the middle of the road that the car with my team behind were like, "Alvaro, are you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, all good. You know, I just needed to adjust something." I was not even telling them that. And then later on, they started to realize that
Wow.
I was just like hallucinating. And, you know, I was going 40 miles an hour downhill and then I was falling asleep and went to the side of the road and fell. The bike went in the air, you know, shoulder messed up, back messed up, bike messed up. I felt like I had 10 really bad crashes. And, you know, you just,
How do you keep on going when you have all these crashes?
because when you don't have quitting as an option, you just get up and keep going.
And keep on but how did you ride a bike with like
Oh, I'll tell you this, and this is the most beautiful analogy. Like if you stop pedaling, you're done. That's it. You're done. So you gotta keep moving. And for me, the hardest part of the race, it was on the second day. I remember I was looking at this Garmin device on my bike, and it said 130 degrees. I was melting, and I was literally suffocated. I was cramping. My feet were starting to be super swollen. I started to lose the sense of it. Like I started to get numb. And I'm like, how am I going to keep going for 10 more days? And it felt so heavy. But then I realized there's no way, I'm not quitting. And then, yeah, it starts to change the mindset. But I will tell you that the most difficult part was the sitting part.
I can imagine. I can't even do a spin class.
I was struggling down there for a long time, literally. And then my seat even broke down. The saddle broke. So they were trying to fix it. And whenever they
Well,
tried,
how did it break?
I don't know, because I'm like trying to move so much that I guess I broke it. And then they tried to put a different one, but then now the sizing, because you know they do the fittings to find the pressure point so that you can
Yeah.
actually ride more comfortable. All that was gone after they tried to put a new saddle. So what happened is that I was having so much pain that I started to stand on the bike. So they were joking that I was just running across America because I was
Right.
literally standing on the bike. But now what happened is that you switch the pressure to your hands and your feet. So on the third day, I started to lose sensation on my feet. Fourth day, I didn't feel my feet at all. And then starting the fifth day, I started to lose sensation on my hands to the point where I couldn't even shift gears anymore. So when it was a big uphill, I had to have my team like be ready to hold me because I was falling. Because I was in such a strong gear because I couldn't change. So I had to change with my wrist and my arm. It was really bad. It was really bad. So I started to get to a point where I asked my coaches, like, is this even worth it? Like, am I going to have severe nerve damage for a long time? And he told me, it's going to take you a few months to recover, but you'll recover. And look, it's been a month and I still don't feel my hand and feet. I went to Russia to climb a mountain without even feeling my hands and feet. Like, I thought it was going to be recovered so much sooner than what's happening. So it's crazy.
So you just took his word for it? Oh, he says it's going to come back, your nerve
Well, I
damage?
trust him, right? I mean, I was trusting all these people with my life. You know what happened is that when you are in that position where you're sleep deprived, it's dangerous. They wanted to take me out of the race because on day 8 or day 9, I fell asleep and I went to the left of the road and a truck was coming.
No.
So the truck was going to run me over. So they had to move the vehicle to push me. And then they were going to just tell me, like, it's not worth it. Because people have died in this race.
I was going to say, did anybody die in your race?
Not in this one, but there were people that, in fact, one of the people that were leading broke her back. And yeah, there's big accidents all the time.
Anyone else who was doing solo, did everyone finish who was doing solo?
No. Like maybe, I don't know, 20%.
So what is it about you though? Besides determination, besides devotion, what's the other quality that keeps you so engaged to not quit? I know it was your father that kind of helped propel this particular thing, but there's other things that you've done that we're going to get into. Like, what would you say is that one single trait that you have that makes you not stop no matter what?
Consistency compounds. I finished stronger than how I started. And I think it's because a lot of people quit along the way. And they quit not because they're feeling tired. Sometimes it's because they achieved something and they think that was enough.
Yeah. I think you said to me before this idea that like so many people in life, and I think this is so true, so many people in life, they do one big thing and then they just like rest on that laurel and
Yeah,
then they never push themselves again, right? But that's
totally.
right. So when you say like consistency compound, it's like you have to constantly stretch, you have to constantly push yourself to the next thing, because it's very, very easy from that one big thing just to kind of say, you know what, I did that, let me just now like just like chill and not do anything, because then your life has then what?
Oh my God. Look, the DNA of your success lays on your routines,
Yeah.
right? It's not so much about what you've done, it's how you do it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm able to train at that level to do something crazy like that, I've developed certain routines and habits that took me there. So now, how can I take those routines and habits to keep on elevating, right? As long as I stay consistent. And sometimes people think that you got to train more and do more in order to reach more. But
Yeah.
that's not true, because that's where the compound effect kicks in.
Right.
I don't train more than how I trained 2 years ago. I train smarter because now I have this back history on what I know is sufficient and what's not. But there is a lot of work that has been already done. And mentally too, like I'm right now getting back into running. I haven't run in 8 months. Last time I ran, it was in November when I was doing the Great Wall Race, the 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. And
Seven marathons in 7 continents in 7 days. So every day you did another marathon in another continent.
yeah, we started in Antarctica, then Africa, Australia,
How
Asia,
did you get
Europe,
there? All these places.
plane.
Right. But I'm saying like how far, I mean, that's another program, right? What's
Yeah.
that called?
The Great Wall Race.
The Great World Way. Okay. How much did that cost to do?
It cost around $50,000 to do it.
Because you need to then, of course, get the plane tickets.
Right.
And then do you need a team of people with you, or no? Because only a marathon.
Yeah,
right?
you don't, I mean, they already, the ones organizing it, they provide you whatever you need.
So what do you pay for? Just the plane rides?
Yeah, the food and
food.
everything.
So,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But so did you get a sponsor for that one, or did you pay for that one yourself?
I was working with the race director himself to organize the race.
Oh, the whole race.
Yeah, to bring on brands and people to do it, like putting together.
Oh, so you were helping
Yeah.
actually the race, the company, the event. So that's why you got to do it. Okay.
Well, I mean, I wanted to do it regardless.
I
So
know,
you
I
gotta
know, I
you
know.
gotta leverage what you got,
Well,
right?
of
I mean,
course.
yeah.
That's what I like about you.
Yeah.
You are like a natural born hustler. Like you're always finding the angles.
Well, you gotta do it.
Yeah, you're a natural opportunist. And by the way, I don't think the word opportunist is a bad thing. I think it's a smart thing, because you like see an opportunity and you go for it.
Well, I mean, a lot of people get blocked by think that, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't know the people, or I don't know that. You can always leverage something.
I know. Or I just say so.
Yeah.
Figure it. You can so.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And you can always, I'm telling you, everybody has something that they can leverage. For me, it was tennis. Back in the day, if I tell you the storyline, really, how I got to where I am today was tennis. I leveraged tennis so much that you could not even imagine.
Tell me a story, and then I want to hear more about your habits. But go on, tell me a
No,
story.
it all started like that. Like we're talking about hustling, right? Like
Yeah.
how can you like hustle and turn a habit out of it, right? Like for me, it was like, how can I leverage what I got? And it was tennis. And I wanted to be surrounded by successful people. I wanted to take my life into that next chapter where I could work at a strong and successful company, meet successful entrepreneurs, because that's what was driving me. I was kind of like exiting a little bit this tennis career, and I wanted to lean more towards business.
Right.
So how could I do that? Well, I wanted to teach tennis to the ones that were at the highest level. So for me, it was like, I want to move to Miami. I initially moved to Boca Raton, the capital of tennis in the world. And I started to work at all these like camps and like all these clubs. And I started to meet some of the wealthiest people. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Now I want to move to Miami. Miami seems like an attractive city. And I started to look at all the buildings that had tennis courts. And I'm like, how can I get myself into these tennis courts? And how can I position myself as a coach so that I could potentially meet these people? And, it takes hustle. It's like when you're trying to sneak into a club, I was getting with the Uber, but I'm like really well-dressed, look apart. I have everything with me. And some buildings, when I was trying to get in, it's like, yeah, I'm going to the tennis course. I'm going to meet the academy director, or I'm going to meet a client, or I'm going to just go to the tennis court. Sometimes they wouldn't say nothing. I will just pass through. And if they were saying something, I will just try to find my way with charisma. But eventually, once I was on the tennis courts, I will just sit there. And I had no classes whatsoever, but it only takes one client to then start trickling from there. And I remember I was just sitting there in the Murano Grande. It was one of the buildings there. And then I was just like there. observing. And then there was one guy playing. He was missing a lot. And I just told him, he's like, hey, just try to change your grip a little bit, like grab it differently. Like, he started to do it and it started to work for him. And he was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Are you a coach? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, wow. When are you available for a class? It's like, well, I have the afternoon. I want to be here. Oh, okay. So I gave him a lesson. Then I started to work with him. Now I have access to the building. I stayed the whole day there. I started to meet more people. I started to give more classes. One guy that was the vice president of Estee Lauder, then the other guy.
Estee Lauder? Yeah.
And I started to meet all these incredible people. And then they started to refer me to other people. And now I'm like, ooh, now I'm in the circle of people that are successful. And, they usually people that have reached high level of success, they want to help the upcomings. And that's how
Up-and-coming people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's how I got my first job. And that's how it's going to,
What was your first job?
I was director of, I was digital marketing at a startup, and then eventually director of operations at 22 years old, running 100 people. I'm still good friends with the owner, by the way, and we became good friends. But point of the story is that I got my foot on the door of business.
Listen, you're speaking my language. I mean, I understand all of this. I'm a total believer in all of this stuff. I believe you got to make your own luck. You got to find your own opportunities. Things are not going to just be like sitting there waiting for you. You got to like figure out angles to kind of get to where you want to be. So this is exactly what I believe in. But my question is this: you're now at a tennis place, and you're basically trying to like teach, like get clients who are of a certain ilk to kind of help you, be conduits to another opportunity. Because everything and everybody is a conduit to another opportunity, especially when you're young and you're super hungry and you really want to succeed in life. The question I have for you is, how are you teaching there? Because if that guy says to you, okay, yeah, I want you to teach me a lesson, how are you able just to go teach? Like, who is he paying? Is he paying you directly?
Yeah, me directly.
Okay, but is he a member at the club? Like, don't
Well,
they have their own?
It's a building. They have tennis courts in the building.
But so it's not a club where like they have their own tennis instructors.
No, it's like literally a building that has tennis courts, and there is obviously instructors there, but you can rent a court and just play.
And you can just play.
Yes. In Boca Raton, so I was doing my master's in Boca Raton at the time. I was doing an MBA. I was 21 years old, and I didn't want to stay in Boca Raton. I was actually
like
teaching.
Boca Raton.
No, I like it, but not for a 21-year-old.
No,
and I was going
if you're
to
81, it's great.
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to the tennis academies, and I was teaching there, and I was like, it's a lot of wealth, but I don't want to be in Boca. I want to be in Miami. So I was taking the train, the tri-rail back in the day, the tri-rail all the way to Hialeah, and then take an Uber from Hialeah or wherever it was.
Uber?
Yeah.
How much did it cost you?
It was costing me more, the whole thing, than the lesson itself.
Yeah.
But
how much were you charging at that time?
I started very shy with $50 an hour, you know, and then eventually I started to charge 100 and then 150, and that was like a
big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. But like it takes one person, right? Like I remember going there and just maybe doing one lesson and spending the whole day. Like I lost money, I lost time, I lost everything.
Totally.
But I was just studying. I was bringing the laptop with me, and I was just doing everything I had to do for the masters anyways while I was waiting there. I was just trying to come across people that I could teach. And eventually you start building that, and it grows and it grows. And yeah, it is a hustle. It is a hustle, but hey, somebody got to do it. All my friends that were doing the masters with me, they were just like relaxed, having fun, enjoying. I was just hustling, trying to get those lessons in Miami. And then eventually it paid off.
I mean, listen, I think this is more important. Like, to me, it's the people who do that who actually really get to the next, like to get to like real levels of success, right? Like I'm a big believer that I think that academia at school can get you like through the door. I get you like to, but it's like all the other soft skills like we're talking about that kick that door down, basically.
The values that you develop through hustling, my first job when I went to college, by the way, when I went with a tennis scholarship to the States, I broke my foot right away. So from supposed to being the captain and 100% scholarship and all this to no more scholarship, no more nothing, because I couldn't play tennis. And I see my family suffering back home. And the only job that was available, it was a maintenance job. I was picking up trash. I took it. And people thought that I was punished by doing this job. But no, it was actually the only job that I could take.
Right.
And I was picking up trash, and then, as my foot was broken, on crutches. And it was the most humiliating, but yet the most humbling job in the world, because it made me connect with the people that were working there, that were making a living to take care of their families. It made me respect so much more anybody in the world. And yeah, it built a lot of values that then I carry on with me through life. So anybody that is going through a hard time, I think it's an opportunity. I always say, like, the quality of your life depends on how you act in the painful moments. A lot of people, when they're going through something difficult, they start blaming and this and that.
Victimizing.
But
It's
if you use
yeah.
it as an opportunity, so every
Yeah, I
time that
agree.
I see myself suffering, I'm like, okay, this is a great opportunity. This is where I can really level up. What am I going to do today in a painful situation that is going to transform my life tomorrow?
I also think that when you have struggle in your life, it builds character, right? Like if you were just given everything, if you had a lot of money and your dad could just pay for everything and you're really privileged, you don't know, like you don't know what you don't know, right? Like if everything's just handed to you,
Hmm.
you lose that ability to kind of like be resourceful. You lose that ability to be like hungry and driven to that level, I think a lot of
Oh my
times.
gosh, so much.
Like I think like it's actually sometimes what you think can be like such a negative can be the biggest positive in your life. Like
Mm,
it actually like works for you. Like when you said you weren't the most talented or you were or when people say they weren't the prettiest or they weren't the smartest, that's actually when you're mediocre, that's your superpower because it will teach you and make you look for different ways to find success and find who you really are. Like, okay, well then I can't rely on this, so let me get really good at this thing, or
yeah.
like I need to be resourceful and figure this out by doing that. Like I was a horrible student. And so I had to like figure out ways to pass
Right.
math because I wouldn't have passed math on my own. So I had to be really like have a lot of build my personality out to get people and friends to help me, like,
I love it.
right? Like, and be really nice to the teacher for him to like me enough to give me that 50 instead of the 45%. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you think about all of these things when like you are in dire like in and when you're like kind of desperate, right? And when you feel less
Yeah.
than,
Yeah.
right? Like when you feel less than at some point of your life, and this is for anybody listening, if you feel less than at that at wherever we're at, like use that to your advantage to because that can be your best solution later on for your
Oh my God, for
success.
sure. And even those that have struggled and reach a certain level
Yeah.
of success, we talked about it, right? You get comfortable and then you forgot about what made you who you are today. So I always
I
try
never will
to,
forget.
well, but a lot of people do, right? When you
Not when
get,
you I think when you struggle, like I still have a chip on my shoulder. Like there's no reason why like at this time of my life, I'm still as hungry and as ambitious as I was when I was 25 because I remember like nothing ever this is a bad quality. This is not great when things are
huh,
never enough. Like you just like you kind of don't even like recognize where you sometimes are because you work so you're so used to working so
right.
hard and struggling so much, you know?
Yeah, it's about having that balance. I mean, we were talking about it. I love to always do these
Yeah.
resets, these big retreats that stops in the middle of everything, like the Vipassana 10-day silent retreat or darkness retreat.
Talk about that. That's so okay. So yeah, tell us about that.
Well, I mean, you just said it, right? Like we live in such a fast-paced environment. When you're used to just like do, you're actually not doing anything anymore. Like
Right.
doing is actually stopping for a moment because that's what makes you realize. It's not about so much, oh my God, I'm so unsatisfied because I'm not reaching what I'm trying to do. It's about really appreciating what you got. I mean, I always love the term called anicca, right? It's the law of impermanence. Everything comes and goes, the good and the bad. So it doesn't matter if you're going through a great time because you might lose it all. And same thing with the bad times, right? Like these too shall pass. Like we hear that all the time.
What's it called again?
Anicca,
Spell it.
Annicca.
The law of anicca.
Oh no, well, the law of impermanence. It's
Oh, the
called.
law of imperfect.
wi- i-
The
i-
law of impermanence.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
anicca, which I love it, by the way. It's a great philosophy to live by. I learned this in the Vipassana, the 10-day silent retreat. But back to your question about the darkness retreat. When I finished the 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days, I'm like, well, what a perfect contrast to add a 7 days on a cave. Pure darkness. And
How
to
scary.
it is
By
not,
yourself?
yeah, by yourself.
Do they give you food?
Yeah, well, you go underground, and then there's like a double-sided slide small door where they put like a Tupperware with some food for the day. You don't know when, and you don't know even like you might be asleep when they do that. So you literally have to open the slide. You don't see nothing. You just grab it and figure it out with your hands what it is. And it's quite a fascinating experience. And the first day, I thought, oh, this is going to be easy because I was so tired, right, from all these
You
marathons
slept.
that I thought I slept. And you have a lot of melatonin that is just releasing through your body. So
Melatonin?
so you're just sleep. Because, when you're in pure darkness, that's what happens. But then after that, you don't have anything left. So you no longer sleep. You don't know what is anymore. Is it day? Is it night? Well, it's 1 hour, 10 hours, 1 minute. You don't know. So I was starving because my body still kept on burning from all these races. I was cold. I really suffered also in the sense that, a lot of people, there is actually studies that said 67% of men and 30 something percent of women would rather get an electric shock than being by themselves with their thoughts for 15 minutes. So I don't blame. A lot of people have a lot of messed up heads, including myself. I was just there and I thought my biggest asset is my mind. I always say that. If you got to take something away, my mind is the last thing because I can be anywhere and still feel strong enough to know that I'll be fine because I have my mind. But then I find myself in this darkness for 7 days, and only thing I am having is conversations with myself. And I start having like the weirdest conversations, the weirdest thoughts, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? But then you start realizing that in order to find the true light in life, you got to invite the darkness. And I just went through the deepest darkness that I could ever imagine. And then I started to find the light within the dark. And it was beautiful. I mean, it was one of those profound moments where I started to be so vulnerable with myself. And the reason I shared this with you is because we are so used to go so fast in life and everything is so shiny around us. Oh my God, the great lunch with the friends, the private jet, or the vacation here, or the this, or the that. Like there is always something that is incredible, but we're always chasing what's next. And we're always trying to show to the world how good we have it, our state, where we are. We're also comparing a little bit. Terrible. It's a terrible way of living. I mean, comparison is the thief of joy. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, who am I really? I already put to the world that I'm this superhuman guy that does everything. It's like people look at me on Instagram, it's like, man, this guy does it all. So what? So what? Is this really who Alvaro is? Is Alvaro happy really doing all of this?
Well, was it? Was it making you happy?
I thought I was super happy, but I was not being vulnerable. I was never being vulnerable. I was always having this projection of like, I got it, super confident, strong, go-getter, like never will break a tear, always like everything is positive. I'm like, am I really there? And I started to drop the shield and to really go deep into who I was. And I just went back to the essence. And the beautiful thing about it is that I found that everything that I always wanted is everything that I've always had. It's not what I want that is out there. It is what I've already had in me that I haven't realized. And that's the beautiful form of a kid. Like if I go back to the essence of who I was, energetic, fun, outgoing, but also like vulnerable in every essence. And it was great to have a conversation with that person. And then all of a sudden I realized, who cares about status? Who cares about this? Who cares about that? Yes, we all make a living out of things. But I started to look at life in a way more raw version. And it was great. I actually left that cave and things were clear. For the first time, I had so much clarity in everything. And I was no longer chasing a path of what I was already building as a brand or as the person that I wanted to be. No, it was based on who I really was. And that's something that I'm not saying that you got to go in that direction, but to slow down, to have a version of that where you get to just have a conversation with yourself. And that's a question for anybody listening, right? Like, when was the last time that you had a conversation with yourself? A true conversation, not like a moment of reflection, meditation in the morning, and you take 10 minutes. No, like a full on day. Like a full on day, just you and your thoughts. Put your phone away, put everything, like just you and your thoughts. When was the last time? We were talking about Colin. Colin is a great friend of mine, and he's the guy that, walked across Antarctica by himself. And out of that, he came with this concept of the 12-hour walk, which is literally you just go with no phone, no nothing, just you and your thoughts for 12 hours walking. And I remember doing that. And I thought, man, this is powerful. And I started to kind of go in this direction of wanting to do more of that exploration. And I think that people need to, in order to connect with themselves, disconnect from the world. That's how it is. We're so plugged into everything else but ourselves. So just food for thoughts.
No, I think it's true, first of all. Have you heard of the Hoffman Institute?
Yeah, he actually just came out of that. We were talking, we're going to see each other later, and he was going to tell me about it.
Really? My one of my best girlfriends just came back
Everybody's
like
talking
2
so highly
days.
about it, no?
Yeah, because I think that it's become very popular and very kind of like
It's sold out.
cool.
Like
It's sold out everywhere
they
like
have a few,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They have one in Canada. They
Yeah.
have like some here, and like they put you on a waiting list, and then I hope ideally the point is, or like you can put yourself on a list from 6-7 months from now, but that you put yourself on a waiting list, and then they'll call you
Yeah.
at last minute, but the whole idea is you have no phone,
Yeah.
you have no nothing, and you kind of have to sit with your own thoughts. Like I think you're like in some type of like therapy or
Yeah.
like some type of program from like 7:30 in the morning to like 9 o'clock at night.
It's
And
intense.
then you go to your room and you can't like distract yourself.
Yeah.
But that's really the reason why there's been so many amazing people who've had such like profound experiences, right? Is because they've like, that's what you don't need to spend. By the way, you don't need to spend $7,000 a week, or you don't need to go into a dark cave. If someone actually had the ability and the courage to take this thing
Exactly.
and put it in a different room for 12 hours, they can
That's
save
it.
all of the money.
That's it.
They don't have to go on a plane, and you can get the same benefit because it's about like just disconnecting. We are so connected, and like I'm a big believer also, like you're right, like the comparison thing is like it steals you of any real joy, because number one, it takes you out of all the things that you've accomplished, all the things that you're about and what makes you happy, and you're constantly thinking about other people who you don't even care about, or
my God, for
who you
sure.
don't even know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like I mean, I think probably you more than me. I'm not impressed, or I'm not interested. I don't like the people on Instagram who having like, no, seriously, who are like having to show themselves on private planes,
Yeah.
and like with the Dior bags, and like all that bullshit is such bullshit, and all that screams to me is you're so miserable.
Yeah.
You are so insecure. Why are you having to show? If you really loved your life, this would not be something. And if you
Yeah.
had all that money, why the hell would you be showing it to
Yeah.
me? Like, I think it's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is not what I'm attracted to. What I get upset with myself is on Instagram is because I'm constantly scrolling for like, scrolling for like fitness stuff, wellness stuff,
Yeah.
jokes, but it's still robbing me of time
A lot of time.
that
Yeah.
like I could be doing other shit.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, like where our society has taken us, and it's not like a kid thing anymore. It's an old person thing too. Like at any age, people are just like they can't even have a conversation. Like if you go to an elevator now and you make eye contact with
Oh
someone,
my God, they freak
they
out.
freak the fuck out. They can't look at you. You know,
It's funny because you said that,
Right?
And we were. I mean, I was just actually watching a video just before this, and
see
and-
on
and-
Instagram.
Yeah, but it actually one of the things I was like, oh, it makes you reflect. He was saying that all these biohacking trends and all these
Yeah.
things, they're great, but the best you can do is to give a hug to somebody, and we're forgetting the human touch. Like we're so attached to our devices that we're forgetting about actually connecting with people.
100%. Like to me, I find so much of this garbage, right? Like you can supplement all you want. You can try every diet hack. You can buy every biohacking tool in the planet. But all those things mean nothing if the core foundations are not taken care of. And like, by the way, having a meaningful friendship, relationship, conversation, it will immensely improve the longevity of your
Oh my God,
life.
yes.
100x versus going into any cold plunge and
Yeah.
putting a glucose monitor on you
Yeah.
and doing all of this other extracurricular
Yeah.
nonsense. Those things like move the needle, what, 0.1%, if nothing else is, that stuff is great if you have all the other stuff that you're doing and if you like all that stuff. And by the way, I'm not saying, I mean, this is how I make my money, and I'm telling you the truth. Like I'm telling people, like, don't focus on that shit unless you're doing the other shit. Like find someone that you like to talk to and go for a walk,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that to me, that's number one.
Yeah.
Right? Like go and, play card. Like I get so much joy playing like this game Spit with my daughter who's 10 years old. She loves this like card game. It's like a
Yeah.
speed card game.
Okay.
And the look on her face when we play the game is so joyful, right? Like, I mean, like these things are so much better and more like just better for your overall like life and happiness and longevity than any freaking
So true.
other stuff.
People are going through a lot of mental health issues these
Oh,
days. And
but this is why.
I'll tell you something. And this was talking about the smoking mirrors and all that.
Yeah.
I remember, I had family members that were going through depression, but then I also was part already of a circle of people that were super wealthy that seemed to have it all, and then all of a sudden they took their life away. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And like, how is this even possible? You have it all. But they were carrying so much weight inside because, look, the stigma of actually talking about how you're not well when you're supposed to have it all well. This is what I was telling you about my realization during this darkness retreat, right? Like, you're not vulnerable. You're just projecting the brand or the status or the person that you're trying to be, right? And if you already have accomplished a lot, this is the person that you are trying to become all the time, every single day, versus trying to actually communicate how you're feeling inside. And these individuals that had it all, they were having some issues inside and they never actually experienced the possibility of having a conversation to talk about it. So I remember, talking about the purpose and your whys and all that.
Yeah.
We all have, in my opinion, the capabilities of taking action towards making an impact in whatever way you want. For me, at that moment, I said, I need to do something about this. And I remember I enrolled into the toughest foot race in the world, the Marathon des Sables. It's 6 marathons in 6 days across the Sahara Desert. And I was not a runner.
This before the world race?
Yeah, this was way before.
Okay.
This was a few years ago.
Okay.
This was the first official big race I did. This is where everything changed.
Okay.
This is where the mind clicked and it's like, wow, what we're capable of. And the reason because I share this story is because I saw such a dark spot in the world with this stigma that people think that they will have if like they're speaking about how they feel. And I wanted to do something about it. For the first time, I was actually called to do something, which is very weird. We not always get to do that, right? And for that moment, I was like, oh my God, because it was close to me. Mm-hmm. So I always say that if I have a calling for something, you got to take action. I mean, we're talking about vitamins and all that stuff. Vitamin A stands for action. If you don't take that one, you're out.
That's a great one. I like that.
That's my favorite vitamin. Vitamin A. Vitamin A. You got to take action. So for me, that was my vitamin. It's like, that's what fills me up. That's what gets me going. Like I need to take action if I feel something. And in that moment, it's like, I need to do something. So I signed up for the toughest foot race in the world. And I said, I'm not a runner. I have no experience. I don't care. I have this fire that is going to get me moving. So I did this campaign where I was going to have a weight in my back, said the weight of depression, a full plate with the names of every person that was going to communicate with us, sharing their struggles. So we did this huge campaign. And again, I want to use my social media for the better, not just to show how cool I am, but to actually do something with it. So all these people, hundreds of people started to share their stories. And it was so crazy to hear the stories. I was on tears every day, just like receiving all these messages. But I put all those names in this weight and I carried on in the race. And again, you're carrying a backpack with all your food and supplies because it's self-sufficient. You got to carry everything that you need for those 6 days. And on top of that, I was carrying a weight. And I remember I got into that race and I started seeing around and I'm like, man, I actually follow this guy. This guy is a legend. This guy is also a legend. And again, comparison is the thief of joy. I started to become a little bit intimidated. I'm like, am I really in the right spot? Am I on top of that, I have a weight. I'm not a runner. Like, what am I doing here? First day I do the first marathon, I'm completely wrecked. I'm out of it. I'm already thinking, how am I going to do 5 more marathons? There's no chance. Second day, middle of the marathon, I start feeling sick. I start peeing blood. My feet, I'll show you a picture later. My feet on the skin of the feet out, my back and shoulders all full of blood because of all the weight that I was carrying.
Wow.
Started to get super dizzy. I was dehydrated. I was like completely out of it. And then I see one of the guys that I was following on social media on the ground, on the sand, calling the helicopter to come pick him up because he couldn't continue. So I'm like, man, I'm going with this guy. What am I doing even continuing with this race? So I put the backpack down. I was going to call as well. And it was right at that moment. I saw the weight. And I'm like, this is my why. I'm doing this for Kevin. I'm doing this for Jacob. I'm doing this for all these people that have shared their struggles with them, because my story was to carry those struggles until the end of the race and then bury that weight to leave all those struggles in the sand. And I said, no chance. I keep going. I put the backpack on and I kept going. I finished that second marathon. And when I finished that second marathon, I went straight into the emergency tent. And the two ladies that were checking, they were like, there's no way you can continue. You've lost a lot of blood. You've lost a lot of liquid. Your feet are messed up. You're not going to end up well. And they pointed out to two guys that were covered in a plastic bag. I was like, you don't want to finish like that.
Were they dead?
I guess, yeah.
People were dying on this race. On this race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they don't publicly announce it, but yeah, people die in these races. And I was like, doesn't matter. It's not anymore about me. And I remember I couldn't even move. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even like make a step forward. And instead of thinking about all the marathons left that I had, it was a matter of like, let's focus just on micro goals. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. And again, consistency compounds. It was the consistency of doing 1 step after the other that kept me going. And what's beautiful about this is that you were already attaching yourself with a why that was so strong that it will make you keep going no matter what. And while my body was breaking down, my mind was getting stronger. And the last day, I no longer was thinking about finishing the race. I felt so strong mentally that I thought I could win the race. And on that last day, on that last marathon, I crossed that finish line among the first. And it was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in my mind.
Wow.
And in my life. It was one of those things that I'm like, wow, the human body is capable of so much more as long as we are aligned with our mind and our soul.
Were you first?
That last day, I finished among the first. Not first, but among the first few. And it was one of those things that I'm like, people even like at the finish line, they took me to a room to test, to check if I was doping or something, because they couldn't believe that a guy that the previous days was like completely out of it and still carrying a weight.
How heavy was the weight?
It was like 20 pounds plus all the things. Like I was carrying totally like 45 pounds.
As you were running?
Yeah.
You were running?
Yeah, running.
Were you walking and running?
No, running. I don't know how to walk.
You don't know how to walk.
No.
So you ran.
And I couldn't, by the way, I couldn't walk because all my skin was out. So I had to like lean forward on my toes. So I was just like building momentum. And that was one of the craziest things, like, if I cannot walk, may as well run. Yeah, it was crazy.
So how hot was it there?
Oh, hot to the degree that if you put your hand in the sand, you'll get blisters. Like we're talking about 130 degrees. Like you're in the hottest place in the planet. The sand was burning, and you're wearing all these gaiters so that the sand doesn't go through your feet. So you're creating like an oven in your feet. If I show you, I'll show you later pictures. You'll freak out.
Wow. You did 6 marathons back to back to back to back to back to back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. So you've done so much stuff and you're so young, and like, what is your, like, how do you train for this? Give me give me what are the habits? What is the daily routine that are like non-negotiable that consistency compounds on? Like, give me what you do. Like, what are the things that you think are the most important things?
Yeah, I don't think it's so much about the morning. It's how you end up the day, right?
Not the morning.
Oh,
Overall,
in
I don't
general.
care about the morning,
Yeah.
night. I don't care if it's in the mid-afternoon. What are the habits?
One thing for sure, one habit that I have is always do something that scares you every day. One thing that is hard. I like to start the day doing something that is hard.
Like what?
I mean, whether it's a cold plunge, whether it's go for a marathon, whether it's something that is like...
Every day you just get up and just run a marathon?
No, not every day. I used to, when I used to run, as I told you, I haven't been running for a while because I was just cycling, but I used to do for 2 years Marathon Monday. Every Monday a marathon. It's not comfortable. I hate it, but I do it, right? Like it's one of those things that every day, how can I push myself to do something that I hate?
Hold on. You did Marathon Monday every Monday?
Oh yeah, last year, like over 60 marathons I did.
So, okay, because I have this thing on Monday. It's called Never Miss a Monday.
Never miss a Monday.
Never miss a Monday because...
Never miss what?
Never miss a workout because...
Oh, okay.
But the idea is never miss a Monday because Monday, it sets the tone
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
exactly.
rest of the week.
Exactly.
And you want to start strong no matter what.
Yeah.
With anything, right? You want to start strong.
Yeah.
And also, like, you want to feel a sense of accomplishment. Like, if you see yourself just like following through and accomplishing something, it will make you that much more strong to do it the next day and the next day and the next day, right?
Yeah. If you can start the week like that, then everything else feels easy.
Right.
And
Yeah, no kidding.
But again, it's about that discipline as well, right? Because Sunday is very easy to just chill, get comfortable. It's Sunday night, you watch a movie or you go out with friends, and people like to drink as well. Like I quit drinking a long time ago. And I remember I was having this fun conversation in a yacht with a friend of mine, and they had all these friends having fun, drinking. And they were like, why are you not drinking? And I'm like, would you drink if you got to wake up at 4 a.m. and do a marathon? It's like, no, but thank God we don't have to do it. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's like, all right, well, and I left, and I did the marathon, and they were like, oh my God, you actually did it?
Yeah.
But this is, again, the thing of you get to do something that is so hard. And again, it's hard for me too. It doesn't matter that I've done it multiple times. It's just hard, period.
Yeah.
But if you do it and you are done with your marathon Monday, and literally it's like not even 9 a.m., people are starting to wake up, and you already have done a marathon. Everything else that you do throughout the week just feels like easier. You're building such strong momentum. So when you ask me about habits, not necessarily just on a Monday, but every day I choose to do something that is hard. And again, I'm in a position where I'm very lucky to have built a life where I could chill. I have good resources, I have good lifestyle, I have good setups. Doesn't matter, because that's what's going to get you back into the same ground zero of nothing. So how can you stay consistent at being uncomfortable? And that's the key.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm not interested in that life. I'll be honest with you. I have access and friends who have all sorts of things that are super luxurious, super ostentatious, but it doesn't match my goal sets in life. Like, because a lot of that life requires lots of doing nothing, like sitting on a boat and doing nothing,
but
traveling and doing nothing.
By the way, but people think that's the dream.
No, but not to me. I know better.
Yeah.
I mean, I know better, and I see it, and I've been involved with it. And by the way, I've been involved in it, and I choose to go home early because it's not my thing. I'm not interested in like drinking rosé all day. I'm really not. Okay, I'm not interested in just wearing a nice party dress and putting on a lot of makeup and just like chilling on a boat or at a party. I like to move and do things. Like, to me, like I think a lot of this also has to do with, like, what are your priorities in life?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do with your life? And how do you want to, like, what are your goals? And what actually like feeds your soul? It doesn't feed my soul to like drink champagne on a yacht, even though it may sound really nice. It's just not my thing. I don't care. Like, you said something to me, I don't know if it was like here or outside, that like you would go somewhere like St. Bart's, let's say, and like all these people are like having this fancy dinner, and then you would take your shoes and your running shoes and your shorts, and you're like, I don't care where I am, I'm gonna run back.
Yeah.
Well, I have to laugh at that because, it's really funny, but like when I go somewhere, right? Like, number one, I have this non-negotiable. I'll never get in a car if it's 2 miles or under.
Oh, I love that.
I have to walk. I don't care how fancy the place is or where the meeting is. I don't give a shit. If I show up sweaty, I show up sweaty. That's not my priority. I want to make sure I like move because it makes me feel better.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the first thing. The second thing is, if I'm going somewhere like dinner or whatever, I don't want to just sit somewhere, eat like some fancy fattening dinner for 4 hours, and then get back into a car and go home.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, to me, my living nightmare.
Exactly.
I'd rather, like, I say, like, okay, if we're doing that, I'm walking home. I bring my sneakers with me, or to be honest, I actually wear my sneakers. I don't wear high heels because I hate them for these reasons. And some people look at me weird, and doesn't matter to me because it doesn't. To me, it's like I'm so myopic and laser focused on what I know myself to know, what like floats my boat. And I think people need to know that. And you can look at anybody's life and think if things look beautiful and looks glamorous, or it looks, like how you want to live. But if you ever peel like one layer off that, like that onion, you'd be shocked at how like miserable or boring or like unsatisfying that stuff really is in real life. That's all I have to say.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, but I think also that everybody has chapters in their lives, right? Like
Or
somebody that
or
has,
that could be something that's interesting to somebody. But there's a lot of
right.
people that it's not interesting for.
They just do it because they think that's what other people like. Yeah,
Or they think that like that means you've made it, or it's because like that's what they want to be doing. But I don't think that's for everybody.
I don't think that look, there is a truth in everything, right? Like I think
Yeah.
that it's good to actually go through that because it will make you realize like, oh, I actually love this. Like, hey, I worked my ass off and now I just
Well, you
literally
need to
want to do that.
listen.
Or I don't like it and then you realize, okay, I tried it already. I want to go back into action. And this happens with a lot of, so I'm sure like friends we have in common that have sold their companies for so much money and they're like, oh, I made it. Now I can do whatever I want. And it gets fun for a minute, but then they need to get back into whatever got them there, right?
Right, because
That hustle.
right, or people like get off on being. Listen, I think it's really important in life to have purpose. I think it's really important in life to have productivity. And if you don't have purpose, you don't have productivity, it's very hard to have contentment.
I
Like
like that.
it's true. I think that we're also living in a world, like you were saying before, is that like we admire the wrong things in life and we look at the wrong people for motivation sometimes.
Yeah.
And, like you don't know how, you don't know how much, what's that saying? It's like you don't know that the house, the grass always looks greener until you see their water bill.
Oh,
Have you ever seen?
oh no, I never heard that
Yeah,
one.
it's true. So,
Oh,
and,
that's interesting. That's a
right?
good one.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Huh,
And
I like that one.
yeah, but anyway, I want to know more of what your non-negotiables are. So you said that you have to do something super hard every day. What else?
Time for myself. Like I wanna have time away from distractions, whether that's in a form of waking up in the morning and just like meditate or breath work or just like literally just do nothing. And just
Okay.
observe. I like to observe, like out of the balcony, whatever views you got, like observe, let your mind expand, gratitude. Like that's literally starting your day with gratitude. Like 3 things you're grateful for is like a superpower for me. Like at least it gives me a lot of strength. And it doesn't need to be about what happened the day before. No, just 3 things that come through your mind that, oh my God, I'm grateful for this, and that. That's something that really puts you in a great mindset. Then going over your vision, your why, like just reminding yourself really where you're heading or where you want to go and what's the purpose behind it. That's something that takes work because not all the time you have it, but redefining that every day and it gives you great momentum to start the day. So those are non-negotiables. I like to, again, clean engine. If we are our own temple, what are we putting in our system? People that wake up and right away they put like a donut or a coffee with
Right.
whatever. Like I really take care of what I put in my system right as I wake up.
Do you
And
drink at all? You said you don't
zero
really drink.
alcohol.
Zero alcohol. Me too.
Zero.
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 I think that's a big game changer. Zero. I mean, I think alcohol is like one of the worst things you can do.
Listen, it gives satisfaction, but short term, right? Like, but long term, and again, it's
It's
I'm
I don't
not
know.
saying that it's not something that people should or shouldn't have. Like everybody can do
No,
whatever
I'm
they
telling
want.
people, I think the one thing that's made a massive difference in aging, you're 10 years old. What do you know? I'm telling you from someone who's in their 40s, who's like, the one thing that I think makes a major difference in aging well
Yeah,
is eliminating alcohol really early in life.
there you go.
I think alcohol ages you. I think it bloats you. It
Yeah,
gives you inflammation. I think it gives you a bad gut. I think it gives you bad skin.
yeah,
I mean, if you really look at the people that I mean, that who look the best, who like feel the best, they never drank. And I mean, I'm fortunate. I never liked the taste of alcohol,
there you go.
which was really helpful.
I don't
But
think nobody likes it at first. They just like keep doing it until they like
well,
it, right?
that's what this
That's
this is
crazy.
my point in
That's
life. Like,
crazy.
not to be all esoteric, but like, okay, well then, if nobody likes it, why are they doing it? Because they
Yeah.
think they should. So this is taking it back to the beginning of what we're talking about. It's like know thyself,
It's
right?
also, but I think it's also the effect that it has in you. A lot of people are seeking that feeling, right? Whether it's more confidence or relax, reduce stress. But
Lowers inhibitions.
the reality is that you can accomplish that in so many other ways, right? Like you go exercise. Like
Yeah,
one of the things that I love to do every day as I wake up, exercise,
yeah.
right? Like boom.
That's my
And,
non-negotiable.
and, and you've been doing that forever, so you understand
But
that high of going for whatever workout, whether it's lifting, running, cycling, whatever you
it doesn't
do.
matter what it is.
That,
I
but you
think the
move.
Exactly. Like we could talk all we want about meditation and breath work and eating and
Yeah,
diet, but at the end of the day, if you're not like doing, like I said, if you're not moving your body every
yeah,
single day,
yeah,
I think that it's a big mistake. I think exercise is the fountain of youth. I think it like helps with stress reduction. It's the best antidepressant on the planet.
yeah,
It's the best thing to kind of to get energy. Energy begets energy. People, when they say, "Oh, I don't have enough energy to work out," you get energy by working
yeah.
out. It keeps you on point, focused. I mean, I'm not running a marathon every Monday, but pretty damn close. No, but like I think it's really important. And I also think like what you were saying is that, or maybe that, the 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 journaling and the gratitude, those are all beautiful behaviors and nice habits to have. But if you're not, like I said, it has to come with action as
Well,
well.
vitamin A.
Vitamin A, love that. Do you
There you
take
go.
any supplements at all?
Yeah, I do. I
Okay, what
do
do you take?
actually.
Oh yeah,
And
you do the 10X. I forgot.
yeah.
Guys, I forgot. He's also, he kind of, I know Gary Brecka's no longer in 10X. Now you're a partner in 10X. What are you doing? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah, I love them. It's amazing journey. I've been with them for 4 years, one of the first ambassadors when they started 10x Health. And it's been an incredible journey because I was just a regular guy, just signed up for my first
You're
Iron.
hardly a regular guy,
Well, I
honey.
mean, I was,
Okay,
starting.
I'm just a regular guy who runs marathons every Monday
Yeah,
and
but it
puts
didn't.
myself in death races every year and have almost lost my life. And I jump out of planes reading books and novels. And what other kind of what's the craziest stunt that you've ever done?
Oh my God. So if I gotta tell you, and this was again, it was a dream of mine, and I did it this year. It was literally so I'm in real estate, right? I have a brokerage and a media agency. So we had this $40 million house
Okay.
in Isla Morada and
Where?
Isla Morada in the Keys
Okay.
in Florida.
So do you only work in Florida?
No, we help with different projects around the world, but Miami is our base, and that's where
Okay.
we do most of the work. But again, one of my dreams was to fly a helicopter into the property, skydive out of the helicopter, land into the event, and then host an event in the property that we had for sale. So I envisioned all of this before I even had a helicopter license, before I was doing any of these skydiving stunts, and before I had even had a listing close to that price. So all of a sudden got the exclusive listing for this property, and I'm like, we gotta do something crazy here. So I'm like, okay, I'm hosting a lot of wellness retreats at these properties,
Oh
right?
yeah.
It's a blend of luxury lifestyle with wellness, with a lot of speaking engagement opportunities there for people to come and lecture. So I said, okay, let's put together this badass mixture of things, and no just a regular event. It's going to be the most incredible event where we had seaplanes. We had people arriving on seaplanes. We were giving them tours around the island in the seaplane, all super high end, but with the wellness element in it. And I said, and I'm going to make an entrance like I wanted to do it. So I fly a helicopter. I'm a pilot. And I got a friend of mine who also is a pilot to fly it with me. So that by the time that we are above the property, I'm like, okay, you take control of the helicopter now. Now I'm going to skydive. So I skydived into the property. And in my mind, that was like the craziest combination. And I don't think nobody has ever even done anything like this in the world, where you fly your own helicopter into your event at a property that you're selling, you skydive out of it, you land in the
How? Who
property.
was doing the rest of the plane? Like who was flying the
No,
plane?
my friend who is the co-pilot.
So you were flying it, then you're like, hey, you take over, and I'm gonna jump
And
out
now I
now.
jump. Yeah, I have the video on my Instagram.
Oh my
And then I
god.
jump, I landed, and then hosted the whole event. And yeah, we got so much publicity, and yeah, it was a crazy combination of passions. But again, the bottom line of this is that when people think that, oh, Alvaro does it all, but what does it really does? Like I don't
That's
like.
what I think. I'm like, okay, he does all these cool things, but
But
what
that's
do
the
you
thing.
do?
Like people don't realize that I got so much criticism back in the day when I was trying to do so many things. They're like, you're never gonna be good at anything if you do so many things. But the reality is that my goal is to condense it all into one thing. Like, how can I bring everything I do into one? I love flying helicopters. I love skydiving. I love real estate. I love wellness. I love speaking. All these things that I'm passionate about. How can I bring it together? And the reality is that you can. And that's what makes you an outlier. What makes you an
Mm-hmm.
outlier is when you connect your passions. And that's something that not a lot of people lean into.
Mm-hmm.
If you love drinking wine, which we're talking about not doing it,
Yeah.
and you love real estate, start hosting wine tasting experiences, if you love something, like I always have been a big believer that why would you have your job and then do your passions on the side when you can combine it all? And for me, at least, I'm having fun doing it.
That's a great thing
I'm
to
having
say.
fun doing it. And again, if you choose passions that you can monetize somehow, then hey, great.
That's a great point. So, because basically, don't pigeonhole yourself, and don't, because I think people categorize people and they pigeonhole you because it's easier for them to slot you somewhere, to know where to put you. Like happens with me my whole life. Like, are you a fitness person? Or
Yeah.
like, so people, some people only know me in fitness. Some people only know me in a podcast setting.
Right.
Some people only know me in business stuff. Like there's like, it's very confusing for people to sometimes be like, to
Yeah.
see you in all these different things. But I'm a big believer in what you just said, and I think that's a really inspirational and truism. Like you're the only person who can actually pigeonhole yourself. Don't allow it. Like you can easily blend things. Like I think that's a great idea. Like I love wellness too, right? Maybe I should be doing more wellness events, like for myself, as opposed to doing other people's wellness events. Maybe I should start
Exactly.
hosting my own.
Hey, why
You
not?
just inspired
There
me.
we go. Go ahead.
Can I use one of your houses?
There we go.
Yeah?
Well, the whole idea is to partner up with people so we can collaborate.
That's a great idea.
By
Let's
the
do
way,
it.
like, our whole concept is to celebritize. We celebritize homes, we celebritize brands. That's why we have a whole run
No,
of
I didn't know anything about it.
influencers. We have a lot of influencers that we work with. And not only that, but athletes, celebrities. And that's the whole idea. Like, I do believe that the whole concept here is how can you bring everything that you have? Talking about the simple angle on how I was doing things with tennis, leverage. How can you leverage everything, right? And in this case, it's like, look, you have a great platform, you have a great network. You want to host an event? Great. I'll give you the perfect setup and we'll do something together, right? Now I'm tapping into your community. A lot of people don't realize that you don't have a great audience and then that's it. No, I always talk about OPA, other people audiences. If you already have an audience, how can I tap into it? And you're tapping into my real estate. So we benefit each other.
Yeah.
So look,
It's symbiotic.
I always say, and then look, same thing, right? When I started with the real estate, what? Am I going to be another agent? Am I going to be another broker? Am I going to be another one out of all the people? I'm not claiming to be the best broker, the most knowledgeable, with the most experience. Neither I try to.
Right.
But hey, I can give you an experience and I can build a relationship with you that probably maybe a handful of people or maybe nobody has, right? Like as a pilot, I love to take some people flying and show them the neighborhoods from the sky. Why? Because I love flying. I need to fly anyways. May as well take you in the sky and show you, and you're getting an experience that nobody's giving you. And then, hey, you obviously, I'm not doing this with anybody. I'm doing it with VIPs and people that have a high status to buy expensive properties.
Yeah, right.
But guess what? I'm establishing that relationship with the person because these are people's business, right? Like we're doing relationships.
Your network is your net worth.
And then these individuals, whether they want to buy with me or not, because you're standing out from everyone else. Look, buying real estate is not rocket science. And in a few years, even now, you can just do it online. You don't need nobody. Like you don't need research. You can just go to Zillow and find the property yourself.
100%.
Like an agent really what it's doing is helping you, hold you by the hand, negotiate it, do all the paperwork, which nowadays is so simplified that like the agent is just slowly adding the value. So everything is changing in this industry. But what I do believe is not changing is the power of the relationship. So if you're able to maintain that mindset of how can I establish a great relationship with these individuals that are high net worth individuals, then hey, go ahead and do it. And you don't need to be flying helicopters. When I was not even a pilot, I was just thinking about what would these people like and how can I tap into something that also resonates with me. So if the guy wanted to watch a property, instead of seeing it at 2 p.m., I will say, okay, we'll meet at 6 a.m. What do you mean 6 a.m.? Yeah, we're going to go for a run. And we went for a run around the neighborhood and then again, it costs you $50 to have a breakfast ready at 8 or 7 a.m. when you're done with your run, all amazing with the smell, the guys arriving to the house. And I even told him, it's like, bring your clothes to change. And the guy will shower there in the house and it will feel like he's already doing that. So it's about being creative, but it's also about, hey, taking vitamin A, take action.
Take action. So true. You're all about action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's
what makes the difference.
That's why you're sitting here. That's exactly why I like you. It's exactly true. I think that's the number one, the key to any success in anything, by the way, not just in like your professional life. I think in everything in life, like you need to take action. You need momentum, right? Like everything is momentum driven, right? Like and not being afraid to take a shot, right? Like it's the shots that you don't take. Like you can miss 99.9%, but it's that one shot that can like ripple into all these other
Oh my
things,
God, so true. And
right?
everybody is so afraid of failure these days because it's like, oh my God, what are they
Right. They
gonna
won't even
say?
give themselves a shot. And the truth is, the biggest difference between one person who succeeds and another person who doesn't is that one person who succeeded typically didn't give up. They kept on going and going and going.
So true. I mean, look, and it's so interesting that the journeys, right? That's why I love your podcast and I love what you do because you're bringing stories of people that have interesting stories that have failed multiple times, right? You
Yes,
failed multiple times, I failed multiple times, and you might hear only the successes, but there's so many failures behind, and
totally.
you're bringing some of them. So I myself, even if you didn't ask me specifically about it, I can tell you so many times I failed in so many things that is just crazy. But again, if you're taking action every day, one failure will give you a lesson that you will carry into the next thing you take action on. And then eventually you'll start seeing more successes.
Totally. I totally agree. I'm like so in line with what you say and what you're saying. Is there anything else? Oh, look at that. Ben's like jumping on the trampoline, of course. Um, oh my God, hilarious. Ben Greenfield just got here, you guys. And he's such a character. He's
Oh
so
my
funny.
God.
I love him.
He's one of a kind.
He's one of a kind. He's like just jumping on my kid's trampoline outside. I love it. Is there anything else that you can think of that is what kind of, how about this? Besides running, biking, diets, fasting, do you do any of this kind of stuff?
I'm not a big fan or believer on all these diets. Like I'm good about like getting to know myself. So I've done, of course, the microbiome test and to
All
to
those things.
really I like to at least be open minded about everything, and I've tried everything just for the sake of how my body
Yeah.
feels. But I think that as long as you keep a balanced diet that really brings on exactly what your body needs, then you're good to go.
You're also young. And I also think that people should not be eliminating huge, food groups. Like people are eating out all this protein, but then they're forgetting about the fiber.
Yeah, yeah,
There's like, I think what you just said is the best thing you said all day, right? Like, because it's about like balance,
yeah,
Not
yeah.
like I believe that there's life that has balance, but in one thing I think it's important. I think in your diet, I think when you're
Totally.
too extreme, it's never a good idea.
I agree. I agree.
I agree. All right. So let's, Alvaro, where do we find you?
Well, you can follow along these adventures on Instagram. You can
Yeah.
find me Alvaro Nunez, ALVARONUNEZ, and then you'll see all the links in there. If you want to read a little bit more about the story, you can go to Amazon and look for the book Level Up. And yeah, I mean, honestly, just looking forward to continue building this relationship. Our doors are open to do fun
Let's
collaborations
do it. I'm
and fun
excited.
challenges as well.
I love that. Well, thanks for coming on the show. And yeah, we got to go. We got to wrap this. So thank you. Bye. Bye. Oh,
Bye.
people, I should tell you. If you haven't yet subscribed, I always forget this part. Please subscribe. I always forget to say that. So I just said it. Bye.